Welcome to this podcast interview. So, I have a very special guest with me to speak on a very special topic. So, first of all, I'll introduce the guest to you. It's none other than Munira Mustaqim. So, she's the founder of an advertising agency, Big on Ads. She has been a copywriter for several years and she has done her degree in advertising and is currently pursuing her double degree in literature. She also has a food blog by the name of Bite Me Now. I'll put in the link below in the comment section. So, check it out and welcome to the podcast interview, Munira.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to have you. So I'll introduce the audience about the whole theme of this video. So on the thumbnail, you must have seen that the theme is "Don't Commit Digital Suicide," because I genuinely feel that a lot of founders, a lot of brands are doing this mistake by not knowing what they should expect out of marketing. They don't know what their target audience is. They don't know the KPI factors. They're just focusing on the number metrics in terms of likes, comments, which I feel is important, but the most important factor is generating that kind of trust within the audience, and the conversions leads will follow that. So through interacting with a lot of founders, a lot of experienced professionals in this field, what my aim is to bring out that kind of realization to the founders, to the people, especially startups who are being, let's say, who don't know what to expect out of marketing, so that they don't end up wasting their cost in the marketing efforts. So that is the whole purpose, and I hope that you'll get insights out of this video. So jumping on to the first question, Munira, tell us something about your amazing journey, about the how the idea of Big on Ads germinated.
My journey has been a long one. So I started as a second year medical student in Mauritius, and then I ended up as a BMM student back in Mumbai.
Okay,
So when I initially joined BMM, I had no idea about advertising or mass media. I just joined in for the sake of having a degree because I thought my career in medicine is over, and I just
right,
need a degree now. I need to get graduated somehow. And a few of my friends and cousins advised me to take BMM because they thought I was good at writing and speaking.
right,
So I did that, and while doing that, I fell in love with advertising and copywriting, and ad design were two of my favorite subjects.
right,
So that's when I started. While I was graduating, I started, taking up small projects for my friends and family, my dad's acquaintances. I did a little bit of content writing, copywriting for them, and
okay,
that's where I kind of realized that okay, this could be a career for me. And
right,
as I graduated, I jumped into a course called Mastering Copywriting by
okay,
Kshitij Doval. Big shout out to him. That's when I kind of, got some direction into advertising and copywriting. So initially, I had an idea about the theory, but I had no idea about the practical part of it, about execution, about how to go about it, how to
right,
get clients. Should I do freelancing? Should I go for a job? So all of that kind of insight I really got in that course, and I also met my team of Big
right,
on Ads in that course. So yeah, that's how we started. But Big on Ads had not started that way. We started small. We started collaborating with each other, the four of us, our
right,
team, and we started with really mini projects, and then we stumbled upon our first client, and we did a lot of work for him. And then suddenly, as we started getting high ticket clients, we realized that there's like a gap in the market. They require a lot of peripheral services along
right,
with advertising and copywriting. So then that's how we started collaborating with freelancers that were outside of our industry. We started collaborating with people who are in public relations, and who do social media and things like those, and business consulting and things like that. So
right,
and we kind of got a really big client from Kuwait, and on because of that he required a lot of services. So because of that we had to collaborate with freelancers outside India as well. And that's
okay,
where the idea of like Big on Ads came in. So it is actually Vimal's idea, my partner's idea. And
right,
initially it started as like a very close knit firm with like a fixed set of individuals, just the four of us, and
right,
we collaborated to work on certain projects. But then we, like, as we got all these experiences, we thought to ourselves that why not collaborate with freelancers, why not have like a network of freelancers, and leverage that whenever we need for like high ticket clients and projects. So
right,
that's when like the whole idea of Big on Ads came in. And now, according to our client requirements, the services that they require and their budget, we kind
right.
of go on find freelancers that would fit their requirements and their budget, and collaborate with us on a project basis. So
Okay.
yeah, that's all about Bigon.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you figured it out just after graduation and you guys decided to start your own advertising agency. This takes a lot of guts. Takes a lot of risk at start. So kudos to you for that. And
Thank you so much.
since you mentioned about the clients, so I'd like to ask this question that what is the first thing that a client asks you? What is he or she most concerned about? Is it the KPI, cost, the experience of the person who's handling? So what is it exactly?
So I would guys here, but I would like to say that most of prospects or clients that I've had, or the freelancers that I've collaborated with in their
Right,
experience,
right.
uh, there are two things that a client really wants to know, like
Okay,
really wants to know. Even if they're like bullshitting you, they really want to know these two things:
okay,
how much
okay.
and how quickly. So
Right,
in how much, there's of course how much cost, how much do they have to shell out, how much money,
right,
and again how much can I promise them, how many
mm,
conversions can I promise them, how much business or sales can I promise them, how many followers can I promise them.
right.
So that whenever like a freelancer or a marketer advertiser hears that, they just go poof, like, oh my god, how do I answer this, how do I explain to them that it is not an exact science. So
Right,
I just like now I started giving them like very like basic examples, like a human gestation. So I just
right,
tell them that if a baby is born today, it's a baby is conceived today, you
right.
cannot expect it to be born the next day, right? It
Yes.
takes like 9 months
9 months.
for
Yes.
the gestation period. So a business is just like a baby. Consider all of this process: marketing, advertising, public relations, content marketing, whatever it is.
Right,
Consider all of those processes and your business as a baby. So if it's conceived today and you've started doing something, it's not going to just show you miraculous results overnight. So kind of have
right,
to give them a reality check over there. And then when it comes to how quickly, again the same thing, that it's not going to happen overnight. You have to be very consistent, and you have to kind of hit your clients with those messages at really opportune moments,
right,
because and you have to be very persuasive and convincing while doing that, otherwise you're going to lose your sales.
right,
Because what's going to happen is, if I come across your brand for the very
mm,
first time, it's
right.
going to take me a hot minute to trust your brand and to
Exactly.
like purchase from you, right? Because I know
Yes.
nothing about you. So no matter how amazing your testimonials are, no matter how amazing your website content is or the number of followers, all of that doesn't matter. What matters is trust.
Right.
And yeah, if you build that trust, you will get sales. And I always say that sell to the skeptical. So
Mm,
if your messaging is that persuasive that you are able to convert people who are skeptical, you'll
right.
you'll definitely be able to convert the people who are warmer to your brand, because they will be persuaded by that. So if you
Exactly.
target that kind of hard group, which is like colder, then you
Right.
can easily convert them. So
Right.
yeah, this is what I usually like tell my clients. I go through the entire process. I give them a reality check, and yeah, that's how it
Yes.
works.
No, that's amazing. The example that you told of a baby, I completely agree to it. And a lot of brands, especially startups, are going forward for a quick process. They want everything in like a week, 2 weeks. They want 100 followers or whatever. They want 10 conversions in a week. So you need to realize that it's a very slow process, and there are other KPIs than the number metrics. There is trust
The
factor.
only KPI, trust factor, yes, the only KPI that I am kind of concerned with is reach.
Okay.
How many people in your target audience are you actually reaching? So if my ad is reaching a good amount of people that is in my mind, like the target audience
Right.
is in my mind, I think that's a win.
Hmm.
And I think targeting campaigns are like my absolute favorite. They are
Right.
the best. You know how Zomato does these email campaigns,
Yes.
retargeting campaigns, where they just tell you like, यार इतना तो investor को भी नहीं
Uh,
मतलब समझाना पड़ता जितना तुमको convince करना पड़ता है, please buy for us, things like those. So
right.
those are actually retargeting campaigns, you know. So
Yes.
I love those, and I feel that the more eyeballs on your messages on your brand, the more the chances of them converting. So I think you
Hmm.
should believe in retargeting. What usually people like businesses feel that, okay, I'll run an ad
Right.
and overnight I think I'll just get like a surge in sales. It doesn't work like that. That's not how the ad algorithm works. The ad
Right.
algorithm needs to learn what kind
Yes.
of target audience it is, what is their feedback, and they, like depending on that feedback, you can again retarget those people. And
Yes.
that's why it's like really important to build a community like of like genuine followers. Not
Hmm.
usually, people go out and buy fake followers and
Yes.
buy
Yes.
followers.
Yes.
That's not a great way to go about it, because if you have, say, 200 genuine followers who are your prospective customers, it will be very easy for you to target them, because there's an
Right.
option on Facebook and Instagram ads saying that target the people who follow me,
Follow
or
me.
target the
Yes.
people who like my content. So those
Yes.
are actual people in your target audience. If you are going on and buying, say, 50,000 followers that have no interest in your business or your products, it's
Right.
like less,
Doesn't
right? You
mean
will never
anything.
be able to target them. Your engagement rates are going to be super low,
Right.
and having a high follower count is not going to give you a higher reach if your engagement is super low. And
Right.
people are going to figure out that they are fake followers. So it's like a
Yes.
complete new situation for you.
Yes, these are some very good points as far as KPIs are concerned. And on Instagram, I also believe that, looking at just the followers or likes doesn't matter. Looking at the engagement rate matters a lot, because if your
Yeah.
followers are actually interested in your product, they'll engage with your post at some point or the other. So looking at KPIs like those is the real factor. And I hope that people who are watching this video get to learn from this and they follow this in the future. So I saw one of your videos on LinkedIn recently wherein you mentioned that a client told you that market my product to anyone you want. So I'm sure there might be very, a large number of clients who don't know what they want to do with marketing or are misguided when it comes to marketing. They have some kind of misconceptions. So how do you deal with such kind of clients? Do you educate them? Do you just give up on them, or what is the right way to deal with them?
Yeah, I think I remember that client, and I think she'll be seeing this video. So I'll be very quick in telling you that. So usually, what I do, I kind of have three to four options which I choose from.
Okay.
One is if they are completely unclear of their business model, or the target audience whom to market to, what is the message that they want to give.
Right.
I usually give them, I refer them to a business consultant that I trust, and
Okay.
somebody who is from their industry. So,
Right.
for example, my client was from the e-commerce industry, lifestyle industry. So
Right.
I, referred her to a business consultant that specialized in that industry. So
Right.
I do that. One is I just refer them to somebody if I don't have the time. Second one is if I do have the time and I really am interested in that project, I just want to guide them a little bit so that the project would work well.
Right.
I kind of collaborate with that business consultant, or I become their business consultant if it's within the scope of my like work. If it's too
Okay.
much for me, if it's
Hmm.
above my head, then I kind of and collaborate with a business consultant that I trust.
Right.
So that is like the second thing which I do. And the third one is uh, a lot of people come up to me with ideas,
Hmm.
like ideas that have no solid, base work, like no solid framework, no business model, nothing at all. They're just pitching me an idea and they just want
Right.
me to do something with it. And I'm like, I cannot do something with it if you have no idea about anything, right? So
Right.
I just politely tell them to go and do some research, build
Right.
some groundwork, and then maybe come to me, and then we can do something about that. Like refer them to a business consultant, or then I'll help them build their business. But if they have zero idea about what their product is, about what their target audience or their business model is, I'm sorry, I really cannot help you there. So
Right.
if they do require my services but they don't know anything, I usually just guide them, educate
Hmm.
them about the whole process. I again give them the realistic scenario of how it's going to work, how much capital is going to require, because usually
Right.
clients have zero idea about
Hmm.
how much capital goes into marketing and advertising if you do it the correct way.
True. True.
So, and then that is the reason most of them like try to do it like themselves, like they
Hmm.
DIY it. And
Hmm.
that's where they like lose, followers or whatever, the customers. And that's why I ask people to just go and consult somebody who's a professional who does this for a living, just
Right.
consult them. If you cannot hire them, great, take their advice, do like an
Right.
hourly consultation with them, and then kind of follow whatever they're telling. So at
Hmm.
least you have a direction. You're just not driving blind somewhere.
Right. That's true. That's very
So
true.
that's what I did with my client that was confused. I just gave them the number of a business consultant, and if she likes, she'll come back to me.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, do you think if a client follows up with the freelancer or the agency on a regular basis and tries to learn from what the other person is doing, do you think that helps?
Yes, it definitely helps because usually business owners, startup owners have so much on their plate already
Right.
that they're just like boggled by all of that information. And
Hmm.
on top of handling their business, they also have to do marketing, advertising, client servicing.
Right.
It's nuts. And these are just the three things which I mentioned on the top of my head, but there are so many other things that they have to do. So
Right.
they don't know what to do. And if they have a problem, they are looking at it with from a wrong angle usually,
Hmm.
and the answer is usually in front of them. It's super simple, but
Right.
they just cannot see it. They have like a tunnel vision, so they're seeing
Yes.
it from one perspective, and they usually, like most of the times, require a fresher perspective. And
Hmm.
that's when, like, you can get in professionals to help you. So in my
Right.
professional opinion, it is like, I would advise that, I would highly recommend that.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So people who are seeing this, who are founders, who are startups, and have given their projects to agencies, freelancers, do follow up with your person who's
Yes.
managing your project. Try to learn from them. Maybe if half an hour on a weekend, that also works because you get to know that what the other person is doing. Is it actually beneficial for the brand? Try to research for half an hour, 40 minutes, and then try to give feedbacks rather than jumping onto conclusions without even seeing what the other person is doing.